Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Oh, it's time to bleed. Stormy, what's good, bro?
What's happening? Let's get to it.
Let's get right to it. We're gonna wait for our guest. He'll show up like maybe in about the next 15 minutes or so. Dimitri, wait, hold on. I'm getting the text right now. Dmitry Salita. For those of you that don't know, he'll introduce himself once he shows up. Former fighter. He's promoted Jarrell Big Baby Miller. He's out of the New York area, Brooklyn to be more exact. He fought Amir Khan when he was an active fighter. He promoted the GWOAT, Claressa Shields. And he's currently promoting Otto Wallin. So everything's falling into place. Let me see who's in the building real quick. Vince Velborn, Anwar Willis, salute, fam. King Jr., Dwayne Jones, Pablo Escobar, salute. Main event Mark, Adrian Vett, Alan Cummins, main event Mark, D-Man Jr., Jose Diaz, Jason. I don't want to butcher your name, family. Makaris Ray, salute to you. Andrew Charles, Diana Brand, salute, sis. Tania Marie, what up, what up, what up? OG, Eric in St. Louis. Brooklyn Born, MP, what the fuck? Boxing and Barbecue, Bruce Gold, salute, salute. Yeah, the family's in here. Mike 202. All right. In the meantime, before Trick Nolte show up and everybody else, and I'm sorry, I'm just reading some stuff. Everybody sends me things. Let's talk about, because I saw you cooking, Stormy, this morning. That's why I had to call in. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Stormy B-Man has a call-in show every Sunday. And y'all need to hop on that. That's pure boxing talk. And that's a much appreciated show. Brilliant platform. You get to talk to the sensei one-on-one and get it off your chest and get that education also. I'm going to throw it to you.
And I want to say salute to Drew for encouraging me to do the show, because I was like kind of cavalier about it, and he was like, "No, brother, you should do that. That's your spot." And hey, I like to give people credit as well where it's due. So the fact that he was able to encourage me to do that and take that leap of faith, that's what we do for one another out here. That's how we support. We show that kind of love and respect, because everybody had their own lane.
That's
you
right.
know what I mean? So
that's right.
I appreciate it.
It's a brilliant thing, man. I encourage that, because it's one thing for people to hear what you have to say, but it's another thing to interact. You know what I mean? It's a mature show. It's troll free, and it's refreshing to interact with people of like mind. It's not a place for games. We can actually discuss the sport. And what Stormy was discussing was the Mikey Garcia fight last night. So what I want to do is I want to throw it back to Stormy first. I want to get his reaction. Dwayne Freeman, I see you, brother. CB Sports, brother Carbarell in the building. TJ Sports, TJ Boxing and Sports, Von D Gaming. Stormy, you broke it down brilliantly, and I need you to do it again before the guest gets here. Tell us what you thought about Mikey Garcia last night, because you did it beautifully.
Oh, well, my thoughts on the whole thing was that Mikey Garcia he's in a web right now, because he stepped up to this situation, and I said that Earl Spence could have ended this train, but he didn't. He left a lifeline for Mikey by not taking him out. If you take him out, you smash him. You know, when a roach run across your wall and you don't have roaches in your house, you don't grab them and say, "Oh, little fella, you don't belong here. Let me put you outside." No, you smack. And then you go looking around. Where'd he come from? I'm going to spray just in case. You understand? That's Mikey. Because when he was at 135, he was doing some great things. Okay. But as I said, that fanfare, the acknowledgement by media and everything, that stuff went to his head. When he went up to 147, he didn't go up there for just to compete with who's up there. He went up there because he no longer wanted to make 135.
That's right.
And he saw the avenue of support and what his name, his family name and everything meant in the sport. And he took advantage. He took full advantage. Even with financial opportunity, he took advantage. Most people would. But the competitive nature of Mikey is no longer there. There's contentment in Mikey, okay? Because he's stealing money. That's what I said earlier. He's stealing money because they're going to pay him because of who he is, his family name, and everything. But the guy that you saw that was a world champion and defeating guys that we didn't think he would beat at 135, that guy's no longer. Because if you see the guy who showed up in the ring last night, I spoke about this earlier, he looked like Adam Kalnaki in the body, didn't he?
Yeah.
There wasn't an ab anywhere. There was plenty flab everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the style that he has is not conducive for everyone who's competing at the elite level at 147.
That's
all
correct.
of the elite guys whoop his behind, which is why he comes back to the ring competing against a guy we all didn't really know. But what he didn't know is that guy was a quick study of him. The guy talked about it in the pre-fight breakdown and everything, the pre-fight meetings. He said, I've been studying Mikey Garcia. That's why we were excited to take this opportunity. I knew him and everything he would be able to do in there, and he wasn't going to be able to be more successful than myself. And he fought like it. And he fought like a person who was more than capable. Now, Mikey, it was interesting in the post-fight show that he talked about, well, I thought I was winning the rounds, you know, and everything. That was just bravado talk.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you this. A true champion takes risk. They do. True champions. I don't care what weight class. I don't care who they are. A true champion will take risks. At some point, they will say, you know, forget this. All bets are off. I'm going for it. Mikey didn't do that. Now, he tried to test Martin's mettle a couple of times in the fight, which was met with competitive nature.
Right.
He backed off. He stayed in that lane and did what I call game quitting. Game quitting is, no, that's not giving up or anything, but that's not taking the necessary means to try to change the outcome.
Right.
You understand? So he stayed doing what he was doing, didn't threaten Martin no more, and made sure that he didn't give Martin a chance to knock him out. But Martin didn't come to knock him out. Martin came to beat him. And that's what he did.
Yes.
The one moment that Mikey did try to open up on him against the ropes, I think it was late in the fight, maybe 8th, 9th round, something like that. He had him up against the ropes, and he tried to open up with something. The guy was blocking what Mikey was doing and was countering off the ropes.
Him. That
And
right hand
Mikey,
was ridiculous.
At that moment, he knew. You understand? And that was what was defining. So it was by no accident that Mikey lost his fight. It was just an embarrassment that he did it on his own promotion card that he was headlining in his hometown with his people and his one judge that he had in his pocket, because that judge's scorecard was reflective of being in Mikey's pocket.
Yes, sir.
But anybody that watches the sport of boxing could see that Sandor Martin was one hell of a competing factor in that fight. And I had Mikey only winning maybe 3 to 4 rounds, maybe 3. So it was something that I was able to speak on earlier. And I said the best thing for Mikey to do would be to drop back down to 135. Because if he drops back down to 135, he will be able to do the things that people know of him. And maybe that fire will come back, because to make that weight, you have to sacrifice. You have to give up things. The tacos, the Tecate, the Coronas, you know what I'm saying? You have to get that stuff up. And you got to eat, sleep, drink, dream boxing. And you get a little surly behind that when you can't eat what you want, when you can't do the things that you do in comfort because you got a nice bank account now. So those are the things to look at. Am I being critical of Mikey? Absolutely. Is Mikey a good fighter? Absolutely. But he's not the champion that you once remembered him for being, and he's in a weight class where he doesn't belong. And we can thank Earl for not handling that business. Earl should have just knocked him out. He would have went right back down to 135, because remember, he jumped over 140. He would have went right back down to 135 and said, you know what? I'll take my chances down here. That's the only thing Earl did wrong. That's the only thing he did wrong. Make him think that he could survive in the ocean when he belongs in a pond. That's it.
It don't get any better than that. That's what I saw last night. Mikey, in short, is robbing the bank. I'm sure he has a cult following, which is fine, which is that cult following secures his pockets. I guess that's always great to him as a fighter. But
let me say this real quick, Drew. Xavier Martinez out there in the chat says Mikey can't beat anyone at 135. Mikey has already beaten guys we didn't expect him to beat at 135. It's just his lack of discipline didn't allow him to remain there. Okay. There are guys at 135 that are not fighting one another right now.
True.
And he's the experienced veteran. He can still whoop some butt down there. This is me talking to you all, giving him credit for being the fighter that he is capable of being. This is not a love fest. This is an honest assess. You understand? So for you guys out there that like to talk that kind of crap, Xavier Martinez, go study up on your boxing, brother, because...
Hold on. We got a call. Hello.
How you doing?
Dimitri.
What's going on?
What's going on, bro?
Everything's great.
Everything's great. So we're gonna do the phone call thing, ladies and gentlemen, because you know, the StreamYard isn't it's not gonna work here, but we'll do it just as well here on the line. Let everybody know who you are, Dimitri.
I am Dmitry Salita, boxing promoter of Otto Wallin, Claressa Shields, Jarrell Miller, Georgia Gashev, and about 30 other fighters, more than 30 fighters. And it's great to be on a show with you.
It's great to have you, bro. Give everyone a brief background about your pro career as a fighter.
I started boxing at Star City Boxing Club at the age of 13 and grew up with some of the best boxers in the game. I won the U.S. Nationals, the New York City Golden Gloves, and most amateur boxing tournaments. Then I turned pro in 2001 with top-ranked Bob Arum, and won 5 different titles throughout my career, including the WBF World title, IBF International, WBA International, and ABA title. Was ranked number 1 in the world, both for WBA World title. And in about 2010, I started promoting my own fights. And I saw that there were so many great fighters in New York City that didn't have promoters, that were unsigned. The first one being Jarrell Miller. And I saw a business in it, and I love the sport of boxing. And step by step, show by show, slowly we started to crawl and then started to walk and started to run. And very soon we want to start flying. So we're working with some great fighters, and it's been a great honor and a privilege to be involved in the sport and to grow with it and to learn and to work with so many great fighters. And looking forward to a great end of this year. In 2 weeks from now, we have Otto Wallin fighting Dillian White for the WBC title. and we're finalizing our deal to have Claressa Shields fight Savannah Marshall. So a lot of exciting things that are game changers in the sport of boxing, and would love to talk to you about this stuff and other things, whatever you have in mind.
Oh man, excellent, man, excellent. Wow, I got so many questions. What do you prefer more? Do you prefer the business of boxing as you see it now, or would you prefer to be a fighter?
Well, different stages in your life, you're made for different things. So when you're younger, I'm just talking about myself. When I was younger, my family immigrated here from the Soviet Union. We didn't have no money. We were poor. We were on welfare and food stamps. I was a young kid, went to public school, got picked on, and I had a lot of frustration to fight over and wanted to make something of myself in this country. So really early on when I was a kid and a teenager and then a young adult, I really wanted to fight because that's what I was fighting for, something.
Right.
And then you grow and you mature, and I still love fighting, and I still love fighting for something. But then, your body, you get older, your mind starts to think different. You find different things more important in life than you did when you were younger. When I was young, I got in the ring. I was like, man, if I die, I'm going to win. No matter what happens, even if I die, I'm going to win. So that was my mentality. And then your mentality starts to change. You start to appreciate different things in life. You start having a family. You have kids. You have different things in life that you look forward towards. So I'm very blessed. So you can't fight for the rest of your life, and I realize it. And obviously, winning a fight and winning a significant fight, there's a certain high that is very difficult to duplicate because it takes so much hard work and so much focus and so much dedication to achieve that victory. That even kind of every victory is a life in itself. Every fight is a life in itself. Making weight and then waking up in the morning and running and then go to the gym on good days and on days when your body's aching, you just want to go to sleep and get away from the pressure, and you go through that, and then you get in the ring, and you fight and you win. So that's a great feeling of accomplishment, and it's a great high that very few events in life can duplicate. But I always was interested in boxing. I love the sport of boxing, and the business side of boxing always fascinated me. And for me, it's really a 360 view because I have a chance to see boxing from all sides, as a fighter, as an amateur, as a pro, growing up in one of the best gyms in the country, really in the world, that produced Shannon Briggs, Monty Barrett, Danny Jacobs, Saddam Ali, Louis Collazo, Travis Sims, Tarvis Sims, Curtis Stevens, Jadon Codrington. I mean, just the list goes on and on. Edgar Berlanga started boxing, Star City Boxing Club.
Brooklyn.
There's just so many for sure. So many talented fighters and talented coaches. Andre Rozier started Star City Boxing Club. Norma Lorick, Felipe Gomez, who was a matchmaker for Lou DiBella for so many different years. And to be able to really be in that atmosphere since you're a kid, you really get a tremendous amount of knowledge and education. And I had a great mentor in Jimmy O, who really took me under his wing and really, I became part of his family. And he gave me a great education in life outside of my community, in life. There's so many different things in life that I've learned when I was a young kid that I see now from a different perspective as more grown, as an adult. So I love the sport of boxing. I love the business of boxing. I love making big fights. I love doing historic events and seeing a fighter and being able to see their potential and with them and with their team make the most of it. So at this stage of the game, I love promoting and I love the business of boxing more than I love fighting.
Wow.
But 15 years ago, I loved boxing more than I liked anything else. But today, my focus 100% is on the business of boxing, and I love it. And I'm very blessed to wake up every day and really love what I do and think about this stuff, in my free time. I love the sport of boxing, and that's really the reason why we've progressed as much as we have. And I really feel blessed and thank God every day for this opportunity.
As a promoter, the position you first of all, your resume is extensive. You obviously have a lot of knowledge of the sport. You've been around some key fighters. It's also a plus being that you've been in the ring and now you're on the outside of the ring and you're looking at the business aspect of it, and that's to be commended. Is there anything different that you feel you can bring to the sport that can make it better?
100%. I feel that as a fighter, I had a sign to be signed with some of the best promoters in the sport of boxing. I started out with Top Rank, then I went to Lou DiBella, then I fought with Golden Boy, then I fought with Square Ring, and Square Ring was really a breakup of Don King Productions. So, I really had a chance to see how all these companies function on a very high level. And certainly, as a fighter, some things you love, some things you have challenges with. And I certainly feel that, and I, really early on in my career, being with Top Rank, being in training camp with Floyd Mayweather, and then with Acelino Freitas and so many great fighters, and experiencing things that many promoters do not experience. Because there's fighters. One of the things that differentiates me from the other fighters that became promoters is that, for example, someone like an Oscar De La Hoya, let's say, who made a business out of it. But when Oscar stopped boxing, or when he was still fighting, he formed his own promotion company because he was such a big superstar. He told HBO, "Okay, guys, give me 8 dates for my fighters, and I'll fight on the network twice a year." So he had the leverage of his name because he was such a superstar to bring up his business. I wasn't that big as a fighter, and I really started promoting from club shows, from really the beginners level, like really the beginning levels, of setting up chairs and doing all the things that it takes to do in the beginning. So which was very challenging at that time, but now I see as a great blessing because you really learn the business of boxing on every level. So that was a great education for me. And some of the things that we've been working on that I feel I've added to the sport of boxing is working with Claressa Shields. I started working with her from a second professional fight. I believe that women's boxing around the world grew because of Claressa's success.
Yes.
And she's gotten tremendous opportunities. And we're about to announce another tremendous deal. And it takes women's sports and women's boxing to the next level. Obviously, it takes someone as great as Claressa Shields to be able to make all these things come to fruition, to be so great inside the ring and be such an incredible story outside the ring. But I feel that having the vision to make the most of it is what I've been blessed with. And I would say that has a lot to do with being signed to Top Rank, because they really, I signed with them in 2001. They had a great mechanism of being able to, promote fighters outside the ring to the maximum. So that was a great experience. One of the other great things that we're trying to do is revive boxing in Detroit City. We've been doing some events here on a consistent basis. Pre-corona, we brought some national televised events to the city of Detroit, to the state of Michigan. And state of Michigan has been producers of some of the greatest fighters of our sport.
Yes.
Mayweather, Tommy Hearns, Kronk Boxing Gym, Sugar Hill Stewart, Emmanuel Stewart, Claressa Shields, Tommy Hearns, Hilmer Kenty, Bronco McCart, James Toney.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Louis. Just so many great fighters and such a great city for boxing that, Tony Harrison. I felt that it was just such a natural to try to revive it. Although it's been quite challenging, I do believe that we're making progress and want to bring consistent championship boxing to the city of Detroit, that I believe we'll do in the near future.
Wow. Like I said, so many questions. I don't want to hog the mic. I have 2 co-hosts here. I'm gonna pass it to my brother, Stormy B Man. You got any questions for Dimitri?
Yeah, salute to you, Dimitri. Thanks for joining us this evening. Nice to meet you.
No problem. Nice to meet you as well. Can you speak up a little louder?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. My first question for you is, could you tell us the significance of having a fighter to promote like Claressa Shields for women's boxing, and what she means to the sport right now, and how important she is because of her accomplishments, the talent that she brings, even her personality, and what that means for the sport. And she could be used as a figurehead to drive women's boxing forward and get that due respect that they're all clamoring for, because no one has achieved what she has in such a short amount of time. She's the most decorated female boxer in history. And the importance of this right now. Could you tell us what that's like for you and working with someone like her?
Pele, Michael Jordan, some of the greatest athletes that ever walked this planet Earth. She is a great. She is the GOAT. And I read about Claressa. I found out about Claressa reading the Wall Street Journal before Second Olympic Games in 2016, and I was reading her brief bio and all the things that she's been through and the things that she's won, and I thought to myself, out of 2016 Olympics, this is the greatest. This is like the men or female. This is bar none the best athlete coming out of the Olympics. And then she went on and she won the second Olympic gold medal, and I wasn't able to connect with her before pro debut, and then I did. And I offered her an opportunity to fight main event on Showtime, on Showbox, and at MGM Grand Detroit, which is also a venue in downtown Detroit that never had boxing. And we made a deal. She was not signed to me. It was just a one-fight deal. We made a deal, and she won, and she got tremendous ratings. And then I kind of expounded on my plan to her, and she liked it. We signed it. We've been a great. It's been a great partnership ever since. So Claressa, there's never been a woman in the sport of boxing prior to Claressa. There was the main event on premium cable network television. Claressa Shields was the first. She's made significant amount of money for that fight, and I think 3 months after that, Cecilia Brækhus fought on HBO, and then Katie Taylor started fighting on DAZN a little time after that, and then Michaela Meyer started fighting on ESPN. So it all happened because of Claressa Shields. There's no doubt about it. And Claressa, while she's very competitive and she wants to be the best in her weight class and she wants to fight the best fighters, as you see, if you've been following her on media and on social media, her goal is to raise up the sport. Her goal is to bring women's boxing to the next level, and she respects and cares for all the champions in women's boxing. And one of the reasons why she's been taking the toughest fights there are, since really her pro debut, where she fought Franchon Cruz, who's the current world champion, is because she understands that with great power comes great responsibility. She knows how broad her shoulders are and how much she's carrying on them. And she understands the responsibility that she has to the sport of boxing, to women's sports, to history itself, to be able to make the biggest fights, to get the fans' attention, to make sure that the sport of boxing grows, and women's boxing grows, and women's pay grows, and women's rights grow, and respect for the sports, for women's sports, through this channel of boxing grows all around the world. And I think that she's accomplished it, as you said, in a short amount of time. But this is just the beginning, and there'll be some big, great things happening in the near future, some big announcements that we're very excited to finalize. And it's going to be a great end of 2020, and it is going to be a great 2021.
Absolutely. Ed, you got something, brother?
What's going on? How everybody doing?
You got good, brother.
You hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay. How everybody doing?
Good.
Great, brother.
Yeah. Dimitri, you brought up Otto Wallin earlier. I just got on. How's training camp going with him right now?
Training camp is going great. Otto is a very disciplined athlete. He leaves no stone unturned. He's been training with Joey Gamache in New York City, his longtime trainer, and Otto's been living in New York City for about 5 years.
He's in New York right now?
Yeah, Otto's in New York. Yep.
Oh, bet. I'm in the Bronx.
Oh, my man.
All right.
So, Otto's been training hard, and boxing fans, even though he's fought before on American television, but really in a really big way, it was when he fought Tyson Fury. And to this day, as Deontay Wilder would say, he is the most successful fighter in the heavyweight division, vis-a-vis being Tyson Fury's opponent. He landed more punches against Tyson Fury than Vladimir Klitschko and Deontay Wilder in the first fight put together.
I gotta agree with you. He
Otto, and he keeps getting better. So obviously, Dillian White is a tough fight. That's for the interim WBC world title. But I believe Otto has every chance to win, and I believe that he will win. And him and Tyson Fury rematch, I believe, is the best and the biggest fight for Tyson Fury right now. And I believe Otto has a great chance to be victorious in that as well. So, October 30th is the focus right now. But I think it's going to be an exciting year for the heavyweight division with all the way at the top.
I don't think that's a fight that Tyson Fury will want to run back with Otto Wallin. That's a very dangerous fight for him. And at any point, Otto could have won that fight. I was very surprised. All honesty, we all watch boxing. I never really paid attention to Otto Wallin. I heard the name, and when he fought Fury, I mean, it's obvious why they brought him in. He was supposed to be a stepping stone, in the marketing of Tyson Fury, and it went left. It really did, because Otto cut him, and he showed him, I didn't come here to lay down. I came here to beat you. And he almost did it, man. He almost did it. In fact, I don't know many referees that would have let that fight go ahead with that cut, man. I mean, Otto is a very dangerous guy. He opened up a lot of eyes. The performance against Dominic Breazeale was stellar. He shut Breazeale down. Breazeale is, in my opinion, and no disrespect to anybody, I'm just keeping it honest, Breazeale's done. So I don't know if he's active or retired, but Otto proved himself to be a durable and formidable opponent. So I don't think Tyson Fury would run that. Tyson Fury has been talking lately like he wants to fulfill his top-ranked contract and get the hell out of the game. That's how he's been sounding. But right now, I've been telling everybody for a long time. I did a whole video months ago in reference to things that Dillian White should do. And he's been posturing all this time. And there was a list of heavyweights that were options for him. And one of those options was Otto Wallin. And I don't think this is my opinion, I don't think he beats Otto Wallin. I just don't think he does it. So we're gonna have to see.
I feel the same way. And obviously, big opportunity for us and something that I feel we're gonna take advantage of for sure.
Was you in Vegas?
I was not in Vegas.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Claressa Shields. I wanted to get because it's the talk of the town, and if you don't know, this is Wilder country over here. I'm bomb squad all day, but I'm also very honest.
Sure.
Give me your assessment on the whole thing, as far as the mechanics in the ring. What did you see?
Great question. So I believe one of the best trainers in the game, tacticians, is Sugar Hill Stewart, who grew up under his uncle Emmanuel Stewart, was one of the greatest trainers of our time, or probably of all time. And I trained with Sugar Hill myself, and and Sugar did a lot of work for Emmanuel, a lot of great fighters. So really learned from a great master since he's really a little kid, since he could walk. And I met Tyson Fury at the Crown Boxing Gym in about 2010 when he was like 9 or 10-0, and we formed a relationship. So what I think I do think that Malik Scott did a great job, and I think that Deontay Wilder, coming off such a crushing defeat in the second time, did a great job of getting himself together, and after getting dropped, I believe it was in round 2, to come back and drop Tyson Fury in round 3. That was tremendous. Showed how much heart and desire and work he put in to be at that level and to want to win that fight. So I have all the respect in the world for Deontay Wilder, and he did much better than I thought he would do. I thought that Tyson Fury would have a much easier time than he did. But Deontay Wilder really came to fight, and he changed his game in a relatively short period of time. Malik Scott added some new things to his roster. But, Deontay Wilder in this day and age is unbeatable. I'm sorry, Tyson Fury at this day and age is just a phenomenal heavyweight, and he's getting better and better with Sugar Hill in his corner. So, even when Deontay Wilder, just speaking here as a fighter, when he didn't acknowledge Tyson Fury after the fight, when Tyson came to pay him his respect, I understand that. I don't even have any I'm not even I can't even say that it was bad sportsmanship, because still in the heat of the moment, right, Deontay Wilder gave it his all to prepare himself. He gave his life. That's like who he is, man. He gave his life, and he trained so hard and got a new trainer, and he was mentally so prepared. And Tyson beat him, and he beat him in an impressive way, even though it was credit to both guys. It's one of the greatest heavyweight fights I've ever seen. So, the fact that Deontay Wilder went through such a war and he didn't win, I understand that hurt him, and that he didn't want to give respect to Tyson Fury at that moment in time I understand it. But I'm glad that he had time to kind of think about it and come back and give Tyson the respect that he deserves. But Deontay Wilder's, my respect for him as a fighter went up after that fight. That was a tremendous performance.
Hey, Dimitri, I got a question for you following up on that. I know that they had a contract for a third fight, right? And Wilder had to exercise, legal enforcement of that. But he could have also done something similar, hindsight being 2020 now, that Tyson Fury did to him in the first fight. Tyson Fury sought to get a 2-fight deal in between the rematch between he and Wilder so he could take on someone else, which ended up being Tom Schwartz, and then Otto Wallin. And so then he came into the rematch with Wilder. Wilder would have benefited from being able to get a couple of fights under his belt with Malik Scott.
Didn't Deontay Wilder, didn't he fight Dominic Brazil?
No,
that was before.
No. I'm talking about before. I'm talking about between the loss to Fury in the second fight and enforcing the third fight through legal. What I'm saying is he could have taken the opportunity for 2 fights, but Fury would still have to guarantee him his rematch, only contingent upon he wins his 2 fights. Like, because Fury did this to him in between the first fight and the second fight.
Right.
So what I'm saying is it would have benefited him to go and take those 2 fights, maybe against lesser opposition, something to get his feet wet again under the tutelage of his new trainer. So then when he comes back for Fury for the third fight, he's already worked out what he may need to work out and can come into that fight not with the pressure of I've got to perform at a certain level and not necessarily have to leave so much of himself in the fight trying to win it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like when Lennox Lewis lost to Oliver McCall. He took on Emmanuel as a coach, but he also took a couple of fights in between facing McCall again. Now, it was McCall who went downhill between those fights, but Lennox fought a couple of fights to put himself back in a winning mindset, back in a hungry. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so, of course. No, it's obviously a very good point, and you obviously get sharper when you trainer, and being able to take 2 fights in between makes sense. But COVID happened, and there's so many different energies in the sport of boxing that you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So I feel that Deontay Wilder had to have this fight as soon as possible. For he's also no spring chicken. He's 34, 35 years old.
35. He has a birthday 35. Coming up this Friday.
Right. Got it. So he's turned 35, right?
35, yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So, so you have to take these opportunities because so many things can happen in the sport of boxing, as we've seen. Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua 3 years ago would have been a huge fight, but it didn't happen. And and obviously now we've seen that Tyson Fury versus Joshua is not going to happen because Joshua lost, or not going to happen to the level that it could have happened at. So you have to make the big fights. Mayweather Pacquiao was another great example. Spence Crawford. So many great examples of fighters.
I'm so glad I'm talking to you as a promoter now.
Man.
Well, let me tell you. So as a promoter of Claressa Shields, we're making Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall in the peak of both of these champions' career to make sure that because it's gonna move the needle in women's sports and women's boxing. Not 3 years from now, not 2 years from now, but now, because it's a fight that boxing needs. It's a fight that's going to move women's boxing to the next level. And it's an example to the men to see, look, guys, we're making the best fights, the best when they are the best. Not 3 years from now. Not when somebody loses.
Thank you.
That's what we have to do. And I just want, if Showbox, who I've had the tremendous amount of dates on, is can show how I think as a promoter, I believe that we have to have challenging, interesting fights for the boxing fans to go to sport of boxing. And
I'm so glad you said that, Dimitri. Let me ask you, as okay, put aside your fighter's hat. Now I want you to wear your promoter's hat. Okay. How do you feel about this thing about allowing fights to marinate? I personally, as a supporter of the sport, have an issue with it because most fans allowing fights to marinate is not productive to us because anything can happen while fights are marinating, which means the two fighters that we want to see fight can lose. There are tons of examples of that.
Right. So
go ahead.
yeah. So marinate is kind of it's a very loose term.
Yeah.
If as an example, we knew that we had to build Claressa and we had to build women's boxing. We had to build a rivalry. So Claressa's first rival was Christina Hammer, if you remember.
Yes.
So we signed her. We had a fight on our show on television and let that marinate. Let her fight one time and then do a lead up to Claressa versus. Have that be the lead up and then have both of them fight each other. So I think when Spence versus Crawford, another great example.
Yeah.
I think it's ready. There's no need for it to marinate.
Thank you.
The challenge is that different promoters, different networks on a business level, they want to make great fights, but sometimes they have challenges, and sometimes different business interests may get in the way of making the best fights for the sport of boxing. That's one of the reasons why UFC has grown so
fast. Yes.
Well, it's good and it's bad because there is no. It's not like look, for lack of a better example, there's no Don King and Bob Arum. The one fighter who's very good can leave Bob and go to Don.
Mm-hmm.
In the UFC, it doesn't exist. Kind of. I mean, there's some leagues coming up, but they're still not on the level of the UFC. So Dana White and the league has an opportunity to make these big fights, which is great for the sport of the UFC and made the sport grow to such a great extent. But in boxing, one guy is with this network, one guy is with that network. It's like making
it can be difficult. I understand.
It could be difficult. Unless the fight's a mega, like Tyson versus Wilder.
Versus Wilder. See, people they
Right.
ignore that. I said, do y'all know that one guy was PBC and the other guy was Top Rank? Floyd and Manny made us wait 5 years. I know somebody that started high school when that rivalry started, and by the time the fight happened, they were going to college.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, it's been that long? It's ridiculous. And now fights marinating, these fighters could eventually fight later, but the thrill could be gone. I mean, right now, in my opinion, AJ versus Wilder is still a huge fight, but it's lost somewhat of an edge because both men have lost.
Right.
It's disgusting. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, sometimes the boxing fans that just watch the sport and don't really follow the news don't understand what you just said, that there's different networks, different managers, different promoters that are sometimes at odds with one another on a business level and don't make the best fights for the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
But but I do think that when it's important, that's why like the Zone said let's get rid of pay-per-view. But pay-per-view is an equalizer because when there's ESPN and the Zone or Showtime or whatever, networks come together on pay-per-view and they share that platform for financial reasons, for media reasons, and it's kind of neutral territory. So I think pay-per-view, the model of pay-per-view is essential to the sport of boxing, and it's great for boxing. In certain situations, obviously you don't overuse it, but fights like Fury versus Wilder, I went to a bar to watch the fight, and fans were just like it was so exciting, and people were so interested, and it was. Every second was like some, the change of the tide every second. So I believe, by the way, that Wilder versus Fury raised the sport of boxing, and it's what the sport needed. And it shows that it is the most exciting combat sport in the world. There's nothing in MMA can come close to the excitement of a fight like Wilder versus Fury. The skills and determination, and this guy getting knocked down, the other guy getting hurt and coming back, and it's just incredible at the highest level. And guys that are 6'7" and 6'5" and got bazookas in each hand.
Oh man, listen, brother, let me tell you something. A lot of people, one thing I don't tolerate is a lot of people trying to discredit the depth of the heavyweight division. That division is very dangerous. I was in Vegas. I got a chance to stand next to a lot of these guys. I'm not a small guy. I'm 6'2", 220. Frank Sanchez walked past me. I said, damn, that's a big dude, man.
Chris Lovejoy.
Chris Lovejoy.
Man.
He dwarfed me. I did a fake face-off with Joseph Parker. He's not a small guy. You know, I said, man, you know, I said, these guys, the division, this is an exciting time in the sport of boxing right now. A lot of these divisions are lit, man, and I really appreciate it. And this brings me to my next question. You do business with Jarrell Miller, right?
Yes.
What's up? What's going on with him?
But, you know, Jarrell is still on suspension, but you know, he's been training. He's coming. You know, we're getting ready for him to come back and working on all those details. But Jarrell comes back. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, personality in the sport of boxing. And an exciting guy and a winner too for Jarrell. I think he's right back in the mix with the top guys. And Jarrell versus BJ is still a great fight. You know, Jarrell versus any of those guys is a great fight. So we just want him to come back to get to work, and I think that big things will happen for the big baby.
Here's my thing with Jarrell, and I'm gonna pass it off to Stormy after this. But here's my thing with Jarrell. He made a mistake. Fine, he made a mistake. I'm very hard on drug cheats in boxing because this is a dangerous sport. I heard his explanation with Anthony Joshua. Unfortunately, I know he has a testosterone exemption at that age. I don't know what that's about, but you know, Jarrell got caught. Fine, all right. I don't think he should have been suspended this long. Especially with the atmosphere of boxing right now. I've been putting together a campaign. You know, everyone that follows my channel, they hear me say "Free Big Baby," because if I'm sure you know about what's going on down at Team Reynoso, you know, and you know, if they moved the goalposts for Canelo, which was fine, and everyone's cool with that. Oscar Valpez popped dirty, and they allowed him to fight. And I'm saying, with the atmosphere being what it is, give Jarrell opportunity to make some money, man. You know, give the opportunity to make some money. This is just, it's unfair. Where's the consistency? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. You're right. Jarrell hasn't fought since 2018, and I agree. He deserves an opportunity, and he deserves to come back. And people make mistakes, and you know, we just have to let this take its course. And we're working on you know, getting him back in the ring soon in the best possible way. And you know, and I believe that good things will happen once he's able to do what he does, and then to come back in a way that he can come back. You know.
No doubt. Stormy, what you got, brother? You're on mute.
Yeah, my question is, Dimitri, given the quality of personnel that you're working with right now, give us 3 matches that are currently dream matches, but you feel that are possible that you can help put together. 3. Give us 3.
Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. Otto Wallin versus Tyson Fury. Jarrell Miller versus Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
Talk to me about
those
that.
are 3 that are realistic we can look forward to. That, and see, that's what we ask for. When we talk about the sport of boxing on our platforms, we just want to see the best fighting the best. We want to see the most competitive matches. We don't want to see these guys, as I call Mikey Garcia.
One other thing. Before I go, I want to tell you one other thing. I have a super middleweight prospect contender. His name is Vladimir Shishkin. He's been training with Sugar Hill for about 3 years at the Kronk Gym. He was supposed to fight for the IBF Eliminator at super middleweight, but he was with Tyson Fury and he got COVID the first time around in July. So Sugar Hill told me, I mean, I believe it, but I'm just going Sugar because Sugar is a great boxing trainer. He said, I believe Shishkin has all the skills to beat Canelo. So that's a fight that we'd love to make sometime down the line, sooner than later. So keep your eyes on Vladimir Shishkin.
What are his measurements?
Box record.
Boxer. Okay, I got you. Fighting that heavyweight. And what you got?
I was listening to what Stormy was saying about these fights. Did you watch the Mikey Garcia fight last night, Dimitri?
No, I had the 2 fights in Detroit. I had Marlon Harrington, who is a hard-punching junior middleweight prospect. He's 5-0 with 4 knockouts. He scored a first-round knockout last night. And I have Ali Ismailov, who is a light heavyweight blue-chip contender. He's only 6-0, but he's world-rated in IBF and WBO. Very good fighter. Now trained with John David Jackson. John David said that this is maybe one of the best fighters he's ever trained, the hardest puncher that he's ever trained. And Ali scored a second-round knockout in Detroit against James Ballard. Very exciting, talented, skilled fighter. I believe the sky is the limit for him. So I did not get a chance to see it, but I did see the headline, and it is pretty interesting to see that upsets happened in boxing. And that's another reason why I need to make the big super fights when you're able to make them.
And my thing off that is, a lot of people are saying, oh, this guy came from Spain. But see, a lot of people don't pay attention to boxing from back in the past. I remember some years ago, there was a guy from Spain named Crisanto España. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but they were trying to get Mildred Taylor back on track. And there was a cherry pick gone wrong, and he destroyed Mildred Taylor. And then there was also another fight where Arturo Gatti fought this guy named Wilson Rodriguez out of Spain. Even though Arturo Gatti won the fight. Remember that? Remember that? Yeah, so don't sleep on the Spaniards, those guys from Spain. Those guys can fight, man.
Guys can fight. Every once in a while, they bring one in that could really fight. That's world class. Wilson, the interesting thing about Wilson Rodriguez, he was like a one-hit wonder, because for that one night when he fought Gotti, he was incredible. But then he fought on HBO again, and he lost to someone. I think he lost to Angel Manfredi, I think. But he wasn't as exciting as he was in that fight with Arturo Gatti. But Arturo Gatti knocked him out with an incredible left hook. I mean, it was like picture perfect. It was like a movie fight.
Yeah, he was losing that fight because the referee goes, was it Flipper Mansky? No, I can't think of the guy's name. He put his hand over his eye, goes, how many fingers I got up? And Gatti paused for a second. Oh, it goes 1, like that. He's like, I'm gonna stop the fight. How many fingers I got up? 2, like that. Y'all remember that? Yep.
Right. For sure. So he was trained by Hector Roca, a great trainer from New York. I also had a chance to work with him for about, I think, 12 of my professional fights. Hector's a very good trainer and a good cornerman. And that was Hector at his best in the corner with Gotti. All right, guys. Always great to be on. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, man, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Much love and appreciation. I need to get out to the gym to watch you guys work out and things of that nature, man. I'll be in touch.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna text you right now so you know it's me.
Awesome. Okay, guys.
Much love and appreciation. Thank you.
Thanks to the fans for tuning in.
Yes, sir. Talk to you soon.
Thank
you.
Okay, guys. Good night.
Night.
And y'all know what? I was talking to Monty Barrett on the phone a while back, and he was telling me about Dimitri, about he used to go to watch him in Gleason's gym, how he was coming up, in the gym and stuff, man, sparring bigger guys and stuff like that. So yeah, I had found some stuff about him, a while back about that with him or whatever.
Yeah, that was informative, man. He's a solid dude. I remember him. I meant that there was a question in here from Dwayne, I believe. I wanted to ask him
Mir Khan
about the Mir Khan fight. Yeah, I wanted to ask him about that, man. But he was a solid, durable guy as a fighter. I like seeing guys like when they come from inside the ring and make the transition to promoting. Because either trainers can turn into fighters can turn into trainers, or they can turn into promoting. He seems to be doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So far, so far so good. Marinating fights, as supporters of the sport, I really don't care for that, because as a fan, as a supporter, we really are not supposed to care, because marinating means the promoter and the fighter are lining their pockets by doing things to generate revenue for themselves, but not doing what's in our best interest in us getting what we want to getting what we want to get.
Right.
out of these fighters. Marinating can be a problem, meaning that one guys or both guys could lose. In the midst of Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather marinating, this guy fought Marquez 3 damn times, and he fought Marquez four times. But after the first fight, that's when they started talking about Manny. Sometime after they started talking about Manny and Floyd, that marinated, and in the midst of that, what happened? Manny got slept really bad.
Yeah.
They still fought, but it lost a step.
Lost a luster.
Wilder AJ.
Yeah.
Come on now. That was a major thing that I kept talking about. I said the problem with that is at any given point, this is the heavyweight division. Both of them could. I remember I was very clear. And y'all know Wilder's my guy, but I said this is the heavyweight division. Both men could fuck around and lose. And what happened? AJ first, Deontay second. Now, the fight can still be made. The fight can still be made, but it's lost something. It'll outsell what Fury does. But the fight has lost something because when they get announced, if it gets announced, they're going to talk about how they lost. You're going to see highlights of D falling. You're going to see highlights of AJ falling. They're going to label it a crossroads match instead of a trilogy like it was supposed to be in 2018. So you guys, the fans that allow these things to happen, this marinating shit, that's y'all fault. All we wanted was the fight, did we not? That's all we wanted. We wanted the damn fight. And here we are. Fights marinate. Y'all remember Juanma Lopez and Yuriorkis Gamboa? Let it marinate. And Juanma started getting knocked out. There goes that. And here we are. Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. Marinate. And, Bud doing things with different things with business. We don't know. We want it now.
Yeah.
Before the next pandemic. If it, God forbid.
Yeah, true.
We want it now, man. We want it now, man. Come on. We're the consumer. What if you went to your favorite restaurant and say, yo, look, I want the steak and the potatoes and the asparagus. No, don't take that. Take the chicken breast, the spinach, and the rice. No, that's not what I want. I want what I want. We're the consumer, man. So get up out of here, man. That's crazy, man. But I appreciate this time. And salute to Brooklyn Braun in that super chat. I saw you, brother. I put it up there. And salute to my brother Southern T Boxing in the building, man. Salute to you.
And let me say this, Drew, and this is something Stormy had said earlier. About basically what you said too about marinating fights. Like, he was talking about like Wilder taking a fight in between, to get acclimated with Malik Scott. Now I remember when Lennox Lewis had lost to Oliver McCall, he took Emmanuel Stewart on, but Emmanuel Stewart couldn't fix him in that first fight because Lennox Lewis kept going back to the same thing. He was dropping that left hand. That's how he got knocked out the first time. He would throw that jab and bring it back down, and Oliver McCall came right over the top with that right hand. So that'd have been, nice for Wilder to get a couple of fights in before he got in there with Tyson Fury. But I don't know what the deal was, but that was a good point that you brought up, Stormy.
Yeah, you see that's typically what guys will do. Now, let's say that they had a 2-fight deal when they first faced off, but somehow Fury was still able to go and fight those 2 fights between Schwartz and Wallin before he went into the second fight with Wilder. So Wilder should have been able to do the same thing. The third fight still be there for him, but he might want to iron out some wrinkles before getting in there. And that's the fact that he could have the fights just a couple of months apart, that doesn't, it bodes well for him because he's not abusing the length of time in a camp. And see, that's where, like I said, when I mentioned that, I said hindsight being 2020. That's with looking back on what could have been used in that time.
Yeah.
Because he spent so much time preparing for Fury. When the actual fight took place, there was pressure to perform and to succeed. Whereas it wasn't just going into the fight now to face the guy for your third fight. There was a lot of pressure in that situation that wouldn't have been there had he had a couple of fights under his belt just to get back on the track of winning, just to get back, used to being in the ring again and feeling like, the man again. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
this is why we talk about the sport being mental.
Get his confidence back up.
Yeah. Not that he lost it. Because, sometimes when you talk like that, people say words are powerful. It's not that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to cover bases. Yes. You don't want to leave a page unturned in a chapter of which you're trying to turn a corner. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So therefore, look at it like this. How many months went by that there were delays and the hearing and all of that? And then even when the hearing came down, how many months from that time to that original July 24th date? And then that date even ended up being delayed and postponed. So he could have got those fights in. He could have gotten them in, gotten some activity, gotten back in the ring, and shook off all kind of cobwebs and everything. And that's stress that would not have been there going into the match.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I think that what you're saying in hindsight is true. Well, but the only thing is, I understand why you're saying it. You know what I think though? I think they had a contractual obligation not to fight anybody else after that second fight. They had to face each other next. That's what the issue was. But as far as you're saying that he could have altered that and went ahead and had some things in between. Right. I agree with that analogy. My only problem with that is I don't trust Tyson. Tyson probably could have went ahead to fight the winner of AJ and Usyk, probably got undisputed and not given Deontay that third fight. That was the element of danger behind that.
Okay, well, check out the leverage that he would have had though. Say he made this appeal to the judge and say like, well, Fury's the champ, but I want this for me so I could get back. But I do expect to get my obligated fight with him. Now, right. The judge will say, well, you do understand he can go on and fight someone else. He could even lose the title. The title is not as important as defeating the man that you want to get your get back with. So it's like, if that happens to be the case, then Wilder gets a chance to fight someone else for the title, but he still gets his chance at his get back with Fury. See, gotcha. In this situation, because he was defeated, he lost all of that and he has to restart anyway because he decided that he's going to continue his career. So he was in a win-win position, but he had to win for it to all come out favorably for him. And that's the part where I said the pressure came in. Mm-hmm. See, if you had these fights, there would be no pressure. There wouldn't. Because he's back on the winning track. If Fury would have fought someone else and lost the title, hey, someone else now has got to face Deontay.
Yeah. And if Fury had decided not to give him that third fight, then that's just what it is.
No, what I said, the contract would, the obligation for him to give him a third fight, whether it's a title on the line or not, should still be in the rhetoric of the court decision.
Of the court. Yeah, I got you. You
got to fight. He can't retire without fighting Deontay the third time.
Right. I would have to see that. I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're saying. I would have to see how that was written, But from what I was told, the contract was an immediate, nothing in between, and that's where the circus started.
But it didn't take place immediate, did it? It did not.
No, you're talking about after the first fight.
I'm talking about between the second and third fight. It wasn't immediate because of all the stuff.
What he did was he spent time trying to get out of that. That's where the circus started, and But I see what you're saying. In a perfect world, if this guy wasn't so fugazi, we would, like I said, what happened last Saturday, if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. We could have had these questions answered last October, last December. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen. But
absolutely.
what
But
I
I
didn't
think this is a
appreciate,
teachable moment though for guys that are out there going forward. It's like, see, this is why you don't just sit up and look at stuff and be like, oh, that's paint on the wall. You wonder, like, okay, what type of paint is that? Huh? Is it waterproof? Is it washable? It's like, you know what? And then you start to understand the different types that are offered, and then you know what you need. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
So this was a teachable moment. We now have data that was not there on the table prior.
Mhm.
And we can move forward. But that's why you heard me say and mentioning all of this, hindsight being 2020.
Salute to my brother Divine Sense. He said they flagged your video about the 4th round knockdown. How'd they do that? How'd they even do that?
You know who it was too.
Oh yeah?
A very small-minded class of individuals who do nothing but make content off of your content.
Well, brother, listen, the world saw it. The world saw it, and documentation beats conversation. I played it on mine. It's just a knockdown. That's all it is.
They flagged your video? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's crazy. But they can't hide from it. It's already out. Guess what? Let me not say anything. Let me not say anything else. We saw it already, dummies. We saw it already. It's already out there, and the appropriate people are taking a look at it. Now, whether something's done, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Smith said he lost 2,000 on that BS. I'd be upset. Listen, I lost money too. It's all right. It's all right. But we can all count. So now there's 2 fights where he got robbed of a knockout. But I don't want to turn the show into that.
It's almost like the tie goes to the runner in baseball. That's what it seemed like. Tie goes to the runner.
Yeah, tie goes to the runner. You know, but we can all count. And I was there live. And I went back because I have the whole round on my phone. What are you gonna do? Flag that when I decide to post it? Go ahead. I have the whole fight on my cell phone. And guess what? The count is still the same. And shout out to the trolls, man, because this still happened.
But he has to be ready.
That was an extremely slow count on both of those knockdowns. I don't know what that was about for more, but that was an extremely slow count on both of those knockdowns.
Andre, they should be counting here ringside, and they pick up.
That was an extremely slow count on both of those knockdowns.
We'll measure that. We were talking about long counts.
Yeah, but you're right. You know, he's got to take the count from the guy at the ring, the guy beside the.
2 knockdowns for Wilder. Just when he looks wobbled, he answers with a thunderous right hand.
You say who stopped Lennox from talking? One of them guys grabbed Lennox's arm like, hey,
don't do that, right? Who the hell stopped Lennox from talking?
And Andre Ward said both knockdowns had slow counts. So it's like, come on, man.
After the fight, right? Andre Ward did a couple of interviews. Look at his face. He looked annoyed.
Yeah.
He looked annoyed. Like, yo, what the fuck? He looked annoyed. Come on, man. We saw it already. You can flag all the videos you want. We saw it. How about this? Why the sudden change in referees so close to the week of the fight? Like 4 days before the fight, they changed some more?
Nope, it hasn't.
No one has explained that to me. I asked Tay, I said, yo, why they changing to this guy? He said, I don't know. Let me call D. D didn't even know. We found out before him.
And check this out. The judge that they switched never came into effect because the fight ended before the 12th. So I would have loved to have seen the scorecards.
I wanted to see the scorecards.
They probably had Fury up 9 rounds to 1. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
now don't get me wrong. Fury was winning the fight. He was winning the fight. But still, why all the changes on fight week? Explain that. You can't. You can't. The fix was in. And guess what? Again, listen. Since cats want to go there, since cats want to go there. This went right over y'all head. Let me play this for y'all. I want y'all to listen. I'm gonna stop right there. I beat you. You lost fair and square tonight. He didn't say the other nights. You lost fair and square tonight. He just told Shelly Finkel, I never cheated a day in my life. Where's your license in your country if you never cheated a day in your life? How you getting a back-day suspension if you never cheated a day in your life? He's lying to your face.
Listen, Drew, we got evidence even from the bouts from last night, okay? Last night, where we saw in the fight that took place between those flyweights for the WBO, Elwin Soto and Jonathan Gonzalez. Okay, now that fight went the distance, and Gonzalez ended up with the victory. But the scorecards had one judge all the way at 118 to 110 for Soto. Yeah. So it's like the judge had it in the bag for the dude that lost, as if it was filled out already. Okay. And then in Mikey's fight, he had a judge in his pocket in that fight.
Did you hear that card?
Yes, absolutely. What? Well, you know, the other two judges, they had it for Martin like they were supposed to. But how did the other judge who had it for Mikey have it at the distinct point amount for Mikey? Get the hell out of here. That's a judge that's already in the pocket of a fighter before the bell rings for the first round. This is the kind of thing that we're talking about, that we got to get and expose and get on their necks in the sport of boxing. Because, listen, once the fists start flying, it's on the fighters to win the fight. It's not for the judge to help them win a fight.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's corruption.
At its finest.
At its finest. Like,
at its finest.
Well said. Well said.
Now let me ask y'all this. We talk about it habitually. That's why we have these platforms. That's why these platforms are very important. And people hate us for it, but there's only so much we can do other than what we're doing. There was a statement made over the weekend where we, as supporters of the sport, were called out of our names. I'll just say that, by a particular fighter. We was called out of our names. At this point, do we need a group of fighters to band together and say, you know what, this faulty scoring and this one sanctioning body allowing their drug cheats to go through, and these state commissions all in the cahoots with their pockets and everything, and they're just letting things fly, you know, with the Team Reynosos and everything else. Do we, and franchise statuses being made and other fighters getting frozen out, do a group of fighters just band together and say, look, we're going to do our own tournament and hand out belts and trophies, and this is going to be our thing, and if you want to fight us, you come over here? Is it time? Are we at a point now in boxing where that needs to be done?
It's been time. It's been past due time. Okay, let me say it like this. What's the name of that video I did?
The New Black Murderers Row?
There's only one reason that the video came to fruition, because of the recognition of what's being done. Right. And we have evidence from the inside that there are platforms in boxing, in the sport, where they have created provisions for fighters to avoid. They have created lanes.
They did it already.
lanes of separation.
That's right.
They have implemented NBF. We didn't do that. This is real. So as far as those fighters or a fighter that want to call us names, sticks and stones, love.
That's all.
Sticks
That's all.
and stones.
That's
But
all.
if you're a fighter and you're out there active, when it's your turn, watch us turn.
Thank you. Thank you. Now let me say this. Frank Sanchez. He has a double negative on him. And I like Frank Sanchez. He has a double negative on him. Number one, he's black. Number two, he's Cuban. I don't know the industry's problem is with these black Cubans, but let's name them. King Kong Ortiz still has no fight date. Eris Landry Lara had to run up on Canelo, and Canelo ain't have to take that fight. He could have ignored him to this day. He'd have never got that fight. Guillermo Rigondeaux, the biggest crime. You see, that's why I don't critique Rigo. No matter how quote unquote boring he is, I'll never critique him because I know what he's been through. Not doing it. Now we got Frank Sanchez. And there's always a level of concern with how they do those brothers down there. It's a level. Now you saw what he did to Ajagba. Ajagba was put on a high pedestal. He's in there knocking it. He got like a weird ass knockout of the year. And we were the only core people saying, yo, look, y'all not paying attention to Frank. That Cuban school is no joke. This guy could punch and he could box. Dangerous. Okay? I'm thinking the industry are just saying, yo, look, we almost got Ortiz out of here. And then here comes Frank Sanchez with his big ass. Damn, man. We getting rid of one and here comes this other one. How are we going to get rid of him? It's not going to happen twice because I'm not going to let it. I'm not going to let it. And we can just add Frank Sanchez to the new Black Murderers Row. They're about to try and do it to him. And that's a key win against Ajagba. I saw it live. We got to speak up for Frank because I see them do. He's gonna move up those ranks fast. 2 more wins, he's gonna be a problem. 2 more key. Ajagba was a key win, man.
Yeah,
that was a key win. A key win. Stormy called it. I called it. All right, key win. They're gonna try and do that brother dirty. We cannot allow that to happen. Bullshit, man. But at this time, since the WBC wants to do what they want, this franchise stuff, why not? Why not all the key guys get together and say, oh, look, we're going to have a tournament. There's no law against that. We're going to have a tournament. And when we control the tournament, we ain't got to worry about judges. We ain't got to worry about refs.
All it
we ain't
takes
got to worry
is
about
a named
cheating.
fighter per division.
Per division. We ain't got to worry about no cheating, no drug cheats. And guess what? I know what y'all thinking. Or they want to make a black league. Well, first of all, so the fuck what? Who cares? What do you care? If your favorite fighter wants to participate, he can participate. We just have to fall under certain rules. Drug-free. That's the number 1 rule. Drug-free. No BS with you. Ain't going to be no last-minute ref changes. It's going to be Olympic-style drug testing, whatever it is. When you come over here, you have to play by the rules.
And how about we get former fighters, champions, and contenders to be judges?
Thank you.
Stormy, you took the words right out of my mouth. Listen, one thing I've been pushing for is we have better commentators. Like I say, why Kevin Kelly ain't got a commentating job?
Correct.
Why Michael Nunn don't have a commentating job? I've been pushing for that. That's another thing I did. I was on somebody else's channel. I said the same thing. I talked to Michael Nunn last week about, put it this way, when I played Little League, when I played YMCA football, my coach never played football. He was he worked in a construction yard. So why are we getting these judges that are they own car dealerships? They're mayors, they're former mayors, they're former teachers. Why we can't get John Scully to be a judge? Why we can't get Reggie Johnson to be a judge?
Those guys can be bought. Those guys can all be bought. You know what? You know. I'm so glad you mentioned that. A guy like who's this guy? that I always shit on. The troll, the million-year-old troll on Instagram. What's his name? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I always make reference to him. He has a black wife, but he likes to troll. He on Instagram, whatever. But F him with a lit flare. But he got some shit with him too. He always talking about he's a boxing insider and Roberto Duran. He's always dropping names, but he's outdated. He's outdated, and he has a criminal record. It's spoken about. He was a car dealer. That's why when you said car dealership, he used to own a car dealership. And he was doing something with the speedometer. Rick Glasser. He was doing something with speedometers or something. And he got caught. Yeah.
Racketeering.
Yeah, he's a criminal.
Yep.
And I'm not saying he's an awful guy. I'm saying he's an awful guy because of what he writes and he runs off at his mouth. But these are the guys that you look towards. This guy's a car dealership. Yep. He has a criminal record. So I'll listen to what someone says, but I'll take it with a grain of salt.
Grain of salt.
Because he has a criminal background. I don't care. I'm not putting stock in a lot that he says. He might say some things that'll drive a point, but a broken clock is right once a day. It's once a day. People say twice a day. No. It's a 24-hour clock I'm talking about. But you get my point. Yeah, that's right, Copper. He's turning them dials back on the odometer. He paid for that. He cost him some freedom and a fine. Nothing major. He ain't killed nobody. But these are the people that are roaming around the boxing industry. These are the people. So if we want to get away from that, what's to say Deontay, Frank Sanchez, a Jogba, or whatever, and they say, yo, you know what? Let's get together and just do this tournament. We can do our own pay-per-view. We can air it on YouTube. Air it on somebody's YouTube channel. You know?
Or bounce. The bounce channel.
Do it on a bounce channel. Now watch this. Why is there no alternative to the NBA? There is. The big three. Do it yourself. Not as big as the NBA, but do it yourself. If we don't like how we're being treated, we need to do it ourselves. There's enough money in it. Do we pay to go see the fighters walk to the ring with all these damn belts? Or do we pay to see the fighter?
Yeah.
I don't care. Arturo Gatti, he used to sell out Atlantic City. A lot of those times that he sold out Atlantic City, he wasn't even a champion. But the Italians came out to support him. In time for the Gatti fight, yeah. Either he was going to whoop somebody's ass or get his ass destroyed. Those are the two options you got with Gatti. Isn't he in the Hall of Fame now, Gatti?
Yep.
Okay. How'd he get there? No disrespect to him, but, how'd he get there? How he get to the Hall of Fame? Mickey Ward got the movie. Sylvester Stallone is in the Hall of Fame. How long it took Philly to show Joe Frazier appreciation? But there's no racism in boxing. Black murderers row. We're not making it up. There's one back in the day, and there's one right now.
And strength come in numbers, man. Strength come in numbers.
They come in numbers. They do. And we're not saying that no other ethnicity can participate, but now is the best time to do it because referees being switched, forgetting how to count to 10, judges, open racist judges, threatening Black Lives Matter people, and they robbing Mike. They robbing him. He whooped that boy's ass, robbed him. We all saw it. Don't tell me that this shit ain't real. It's real. But why are we putting up with it again? When these athletes are worth millions of dollars? Why are we putting up with it? I don't get it. You don't need to. So if you want to clean up the sport, it's going to take a group effort. But, that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's all I got on that.
Good points, man. Good points.
This is stupid, man. But in closing, I got about 5 more minutes. What did I want to talk? Oh, well, I'll talk about that tomorrow. I might be beside myself tomorrow with this Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney thing. Speaking of Black Murderers Row, Speaking of Black Murderers Row, Devin Haney, you could throw him right at the top of the list if you want. That don't make no damn sense.
Let me say something real quick, Drew, before we get off. I remember might have been about a little bit over a month ago. I saw Regis Prograis and Mikey Garcia, and they were having a real cordial talk on FaceTime about possibly fighting each other. And they basically kind of agreed to fight each other, verbal agreement. I mean, it went well. There was no disrespect. And then all of a sudden, the rumor comes out that Mikey Garcia is fighting somebody else. And Regis had texted me like, man, that's messed up. I still got the text message. And I'm like, which told us messed up? He goes, Mikey's taking another fight. He ain't fighting me. I'm like, what? So, we texted back and forth. And now, look what happened last night. Had you took the fight with Regis Prograis, you wouldn't be sitting in the back seat.
You see?
So there we go.
See?
Did anybody in the chat see that? Whatever, him and Mikey was having that, nice conversation about fighting, and he went and did something else, man. Regis can't get a fight, man. That's messed up, man.
These are the things. And then when the fights are on the brink of happening, they create statuses because they want to do what's best for business.
Let me add this to that situation. A lot of people forget. They hear of Black Murderers Row. They hear of it, and they can Google something online about it and whatnot and learn the fact that these wonderful fighters, numerous fighters, were outcast. They were kept out of championship world-class boxing because they were good. But what the other aspect of this that people don't take note of or take heed to the fact of how important it is to counter the barriers that are placed before these fighters is this. Most of those fighters that were a part of Black Murderers Row fought one another multiple times.
Multiple times.
I'm talking about 6, 8, 10, some 15 times.
Look it up.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, what happens in that is this. You eat. You eat, and you eat well, because at the end of the day, who buys the ticket?
We do.
Who will pay to see Big Baby Miller fighting Deontay Wilder, or what? It does. Take the fighters. Luis King Kong Ortiz, fighting Frank Sanchez, or Efe Ajaba, or whatever. But when you talk about putting these matches together, yes, it is no longer about protecting a O.
That's right.
It's about protecting your integrity, and it's about protecting the fact that when you come in here to participate in this sport, you have a right to earn a living.
That's right.
Now, when it gets good and there are classic bouts and classic matchups where something transpires that it's like we couldn't even fathom it being this great or whatever, guess who's going to want to be a part of the show?
Look at that.
Think about it.
You see that? They're not going to not watch it.
So when we talk about these things, understand the power and the leverage that you have behind this. So these fighters have to get out of the mindset of, I got to protect myself. I got to protect my record. I got to, protect your family.
That's right. That's right.
And by fighting one another, you're feeding your brothers. They're feeding you.
Thank you.
By buying into this foolishness that the freeze out is creating, who's taking care of you? That promoter who's always lying to you? We can't make the deal. I could have bought a house in Beverly Hills with the money I lost. Well, we don't need you. We got social media now, don't we? If you utilize self-promotion the correct way, you'll never have to pay another PE person Huh? You'll never have to pay someone to take care of those aspects because all that revenue comes to you.
That's right. And
Think
some
about
of
it.
Some of it will be more than what people imagined. I mean, really think
Some
about
of
it.
these men will have to face each other multiple times. And it's okay because we will freaking watch it.
You see,
Once somebody takes a loss, we don't give a damn. We just say, hey, can y'all do that again? Do people remember Arturo Gotti's record when he fought Mickey Ward the first time and vice versa? Hell no. You just remember the fights, don't you?
Just remember the fight. Just remember the fight.
So when you got quality going in, the dollars are going to come out.
Not all sense is common. And you see, here's the deal. Really think about it. Back in 2018, when we were dealing with AJ like that, it was never a problem with AJ. The fan base and Eddie Hearn hijacked that. By now, do y'all understand that it's a possibility him and Deontay could have fought twice by now? At least twice by now. And broke bread by now. Possibly, if they split, it'd have been a third fight by now. I want you guys to understand that. That is potentially ruined now. It's ruined. They can still fight and make some money, but a portion of that is ruined. Do you understand that that's all we wanted? That's all we wanted. They'd have fed each other. All of this posturing, oh, he's worth more, he's worth more. What do we care?
That man could have had guaranteed generational wealth for himself.
For himself.
Not making generational wealth for Matchroom and his management for himself. A one-shot deal, win, lose, or draw. $50 million in the bank, all coming to you. Who does that?
Here. I like this right here. Look what Dwayne Jones just said. Fury just took AJ's money. Hey, man. If AJ does look, man, first of all, he got to get past Usyk. If he can't do that, his only option is Wilder to get a major payday for Eddie Hearn to get a return on his investment as far as AJ is concerned. Bud and Errol, we could have been on fight number 3 by now. By now. They'd have been feeding each other. And ain't no need for marinating. The fights are happening. 2-fight deal at minimum. And if we split, tiebreaker. Who's not going to pay to see that? Who's not going to pay to see that? Who's not going to pay to see Wilder versus AJ? Who's not going to pay to see, I don't know. You could pick them. Pick them. You could pick. There's options out there. Who would want to see Big Baby Miller versus King Kong Ortiz right now? Right now. I'd love to see that. Put it all on one card. And have everybody split. And then do it again. And then do it again. We didn't need for Triller to come along and do this. The fighters are the talent. We're the supporters. We're the mouthpiece. The real mouthpiece. Not ESPN. You don't go there to get your boxing news. You come here. That's been proven. That's been proven. There's multiple channels everywhere for you to select from. But the real boxing supporters are right here on social media. It ain't even on no ESPN. We can do it ourselves.
You got ESPN personnel out there right now listening to your voice right now.
Absolutely.
On this channel. ESPN personnel. And they'll be there first thing in the morning too when you do your live stream in the morning.
Yep.
You understand?
They listen.
Because this is what they do. They're freaking leeches. When are you going to learn? Your blood is gold. Okay? It is. Regardless of what anyone on the outsides tell you. Anyone that want to talk about how ugly you are. Huh? How dark you are. Mm-hmm. Huh? Oh, you shut up and dribble. Huh? Yeah. But why you there? Huh? Why you watching me? Huh? Why you got such keen interest in me? I'm over here, around the corner, down the street, and here you come peeping. Why?
Hey,
Why?
Stormy, if LeBron said, okay, I'm going to shut up and dribble, and he took 10 All-Stars, and they said, F y'all, we going to go play in the Big Three. What does that do? That's a shot to the NBA.
Out. The bottom falls out.
That's right. That's right. That helps out Cube. That brings everyone's gonna, oh man, but LeBron over there, I'm gonna go play with LeBron. I'm gonna make my name over there. And the Big Three could turn into a 505 full court, and they could grow from there. Next thing you know, they're rivaling the NBA. They're selling out stadiums. People paying to see the talent. They're not paying to see that NBA logo. They're saying it's selling their own sneakers, their own jerseys. It is easy to trump them business-wise. And then next thing you know, more people will come through and start throwing business deals at them. Here come Nike and Adidas. Okay, we want to support your team now. We want to give you a new shoe deal. Ain't got nothing to do with the NBA. Shut up and dribble indeed. I'll dribble my ass somewhere else and see how y'all like it. In 5 years from then, when they say, yo, why'd you leave? Yeah, I was told to shut up and dribble, so I'll dribble my ass across the street. Don't blame me. Blame that bitch Tammy or whoever that white chick name is that wanted to say that. So there's ways to do it. We can do it ourselves. We've been shown 2021 has been a revealing year. We have to do it ourselves. Mike Fox, if that didn't put the final nail in the coffin, that Mike Fox, this is the universe saying, are y'all paying attention? I just showed y'all. Mike Fox won that fight. They tried to cheat him in the ring with equipment. They robbed him on the scorecards, and then you found out the judge was a racist. All proven. Where's the lie? You can't tell me anything different. That happened. You want to clown Deontay? Go ahead. But we know what we saw. Just because Tyson won the third fight doesn't negate what we saw in the first and the second. It doesn't negate the fact that we saw that he had to pull teeth to get this third fight.
It doesn't negate the fact that Deontay was on the cusp of becoming undisputed.
Yes.
And they sidetracked him. They railroaded him out of that opportunity.
That's what they did.
You see, regardless of what you think of his skill set or whatever, the man was on track for something, and they put up roadblocks so it wouldn't happen. If you don't want to receive that information as being valid, then explain the fact that even though he had a contractual obligation for a third fight, publicly they were negotiating a deal between Fury and AJ that was not going to happen.
That's right.
But you see how many people bought into that BS?
Y'all all bought it.
The people were losing their minds. They were selling merchandise, Drew.
Bro, do you remember that? I put the shit up.
They were selling merchandise and everything because they were trying to make Deontay a non-factor. Okay? This is bigger than boxing. You have to understand, when God got something for you, it's more than the world against you. Look at the popularity that D has got out of this defeat.
Out of defeat.
You see? But think about it. It would have been even greater than that had he been allowed to fight for the right to get to that holy grail. But they didn't want that. This is why they pulled Larry Merchant up out of a coffin after that first fight to go on television with that soliloquy that he spoke that was utmost disrespectful. Ain't nobody strangled his ass yet. Where yet?
Nobody said anything.
Huh?
Nobody said anything.
If you don't think it was a concerted effort by all parties involved, you just a fucking dummy.
From Mike Fox all the way up to these motherfuckers changing the ref 4 days before the fight. Y'all don't see anything wrong. But like I said, celebrate your win. It don't matter. Everything that we fought for, everything is still true. Because what you're not negating is the facts. And the sad fact is, if you support Tyson Fury shenanigans and the sport of boxing's shenanigans leading up to this point, unsubscribe and get the hell off my damn channel. You want to give Fury his credit? Fine. He fought a great fight. He got up off the floor to win. Fine. I already gave him his props for that. What I'm not going to do is kiss that ass, though. If I fought you 3 times and 2 of those times, I beat you down with a crowbar. But then the 3rd time, I fought a fair one and I stopped you. Are you going to say, well, we fought a fair one, so, you know, nah. You're going to be thinking about that crowbar those 2 times. So when D said no love, he meant it. Yeah, he gives him credit for the 3rd fight. You beat me in the 3rd fight. But right after that, the media tried to rip Deontay and said, oh, my God, you know, he's unsportsmanlike. He told Shelly Finkel, I never cheated a day in my life. That lie went right over your head. Nobody in the media said, wait a minute, you ain't never cheated a day in your life, but how the hell you ain't got no damn boxing license in your own damn country? Right over your head. But y'all ain't going to pay attention to that. So celebrate that D loss. Go ahead, haters. That's cool. That's cool. We're going to win in the end, though. What do I always say? Time reveals all truth, and a lie is nothing but the long way to the truth. Laugh now, hurt later, because we're going to bust those virgin legs open really bad. Remember I said that. Well, that's my time, gentlemen. Stormy, let them know how they can find you, brother.
I'm on YouTube. Stormy B-Man is the channel.
Yes, sir. It's not a game. Trick, let them know they can find you, brother. You're on mute, fam.
Oh, shit.
Okay,
You hear me?
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, yeah. You on you find me on Trick. Find me at Instagram at Trick_Nolte. I'm Anthony Carter on Facebook. Hit me up. And I'm on here with Drew and Stormy, the sensei, doing our thing, man, on Sundays, man, with these legends.
No diggity doubt, man. You already know. Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I think Black is coming on with the fight party. If you know, they'll take these trolls, don't waste no time. Sick my duck.
And one more thing before we go out here, man. To the 14 people that put the thumbs down, I mean, I don't know. I just saw it like 14 thumbs down. Like, come on, man. We had a box promoter come on here, man, and
it's not them.
Give us.
It's not Dimitri. It's me.
Right.
It's me.
Right.
It's me. Read when this video uploads. Read the comments. I made this is the second time I made the crowbar analogy. I did it on another video. Somebody just commented on it. He said, not a crowbar, but British steel. No, it was a British tooth with a bite. You bastard sinner. Get out of here.
Weirdos, man. Weirdos.
But stay on my Disney, though, because my month has been great. I haven't touched my job check, and I make 6 figures. See, y'all doing me a service. You know how you shut me up? Don't watch me, but you can't. You can't. Y'all watch me even when y'all sick. Let me not go there. Let me not go there. You watch me, you're really sick, and you want to be me. You can't be me. And you take that hatred with you to your grave, and that's unfortunate. Stand by, y'all. I want to hold y'all at when I end the stream. If not, if Black don't come on, Big Daddy Kane versus KRS-One versus battle. Y'all know I got to check that. You know what I mean? So Bronx on deck. I'll see y'all in the morning. Peace.